Okay, I'm on my move tool here. I have my background layer, I have my ocean layer. If I don't want to accidentally select that ocean layer and move it around, I could lock it here. I have these adjustment layers, I could lock those also. And they're just affecting my background layer. I have my optional layer there that I may or may not use, and I have my rock layer. Now I don't want to lock that because I may move that around. And I'm going to have this layer, I'm going to transform it a little bit. And maybe I want a shadow from this rock on that background. I'll show you a quick way to make a shadow. And I can do that. I'm on my move tool. I can hit Command and click this layer right here. A thumbnail of any layer. I can do it with the rock layer. Or Control if you're on a PC. Click there. Command D. I don't want to. Command D is deselect. Alright. Command. Actually, I want to click the mask layer there to make sure I get a shape of that since I used a mask. If I didn't have a mask and I just cut something out, then I would use this one. Alright. I'm going to make a new blank layer down here. Like a new piece of paper, new blank layer. So I have a blank layer with this shape selected. Well, now I can fill it with a color. Right now I'm on white and black, so I would fill it with white if I filled it now. So I want to switch those around by clicking that or hitting X. Now I have this black color that I could fill with. And if I go up here underneath my gradient tool, there's my paint bucket tool. Now, if you're having trouble finding the tools, make sure your toolbar is open by clicking Windows Tools toolbar. They can also make sure this is expanded here. Make sure it's all shown here, and make sure it's not off just detached off the screen or floating somewhere else. I can also attach that back here. But if you can't find some of the tools up here, you can also click this button down here, and it'll let you edit the toolbar and find some different things there. Let me come back up here, and I'm going to go to Paint Bucket tool underneath the Gradient tool, and it'll fill whatever color I have here for the foreground color. Good. So give me that nice black shadowy color. I don't want a selection anymore, so I can deselect that. Command D or Control D on a PC. Command D. Back to my move tool. Now I can move this shadow down here. I can click this layer and drag it behind my rock layer. Beautiful shadow. No, it's not very good yet. So Command T. I need to make that look a little flatter. Oops. Command Z. Hold the Shift key down. I can distort this so that shadow sort of laying on the ocean there from my rock. I can make it, if I move it up, it feels like that rock's closer to the water. Down here, the rock's farther away. And I'm going to make it look pretty good now. We may adjust it more later, so I make sure I'm on that layer. I can lower the opacity here. So it's sort of a translucent shadow. Well, it's a little too sharp. Nice shadow, but it's a little too sharp on the edges. So I'm on the shadow layer. I can go to Filter, Blur. It gives me some different types of blur, and a real good realistic blur would be a Gaussian blur. Okay, and if a preview is checked here, I should be able to see how it affects it. See how it makes it really blurry. I want it to be a little blurry, but not too blurry. So it still maintains some of the shape of the rocks, but it feels a little more natural, soft shadow. There we go. And once again, I can always lower the opacity here if I think it needs to be a little bit lower. It's sort of a subtle shadow there. Yeah, maybe like this. Nice. Once again, I cut things out with the pen tool. And I could place my next image and cut that out with the pen tool also. But I'm going to come back in my next video with those already cut out, since you've seen how to do that, And you will be able to do those on your own or cut out whatever objects you're going to use on your own. Let me do one more thing before we stop this video. Let me place an object or an image, and for this I'm going to do some of these birds. Have these translucent background birds cut out. They're saved as translucent PNGs. Place it there. Move around. I can see these birds off in the distance flying around. Maybe I'll make them a little bit bigger. Okay. Just adds a little more natural effect to it. Now, depending on the size of my house, I may want to bring this up here. Maybe my birds are in front of this object. I could duplicate those. A good way to duplicate things is to hold the Option key on your keyboard or Alt key, click on that object, drag with my mouse or keyboard trackpad, let go, then let go of the button. Option or Alt, click, drag, let go of the mouse, let go of the button. I only want 2 of those, Command Z. Right now they're the same images, so I may want to Command T, maybe rotate it a little, do some changes so they don't look exactly the same. Change the size if I want, Command Z. Click Command Z. And Command T, maybe change the size on this one a little bit so they don't look like they're exact same birds. Right? So I just got some nice little details flying around here. I could make shadows for those if you want. If I want, but not at this point. Alright, on my next video I'm going to come in with some of the objects already placed in here that are already cut out.